You start to feel the same thing over and over again. All right? I'll describe it to you in a moment. Eventually, you start to feel, right? You start to feel tired all the time. And you can't understand what is causing tiredness. Let's go to the next one so we can see what's going on. Now, I'm not a neuroscientist by any imagination, but I want to share with you what goes on in your mind. All right? This is what a normal nervous system looks like. All right? The threat comes. Somebody jumps in front of you when you're driving, or you almost get down by a motorcycle. Okay? Earthquake. My first earthquake experience was 2014. I was staying on the 31st floor of the apartment. All of a sudden, the building starts to move. Now, I'm from Africa. You were taught me there's an earthquake, you go under the table. Not in Indonesia. Everybody jumps into the elevator to go down. Like, elevator, no. But my first reaction was freezing. I didn't know what to do. Okay? So whenever something happens, your child climbs on the chair or climbs on the stairs, you feel this rush in your body. Okay? Then you decide, am I going to run away or am I going to run towards the bar? Right? That's how the nervous system works. And then when the threat passes, your body starts producing cortisol. Now it reduces it and you go back to normal. All of a sudden, you're tired because adrenaline is not as much. Here's the problem with burnout. Okay? If you guys have any questions about this, I'll come back to it. But here's what happens when you experience burnout. Three concepts. You experience a stressor, but here's the problem. It doesn't go away. What about your marriage? Every single moment. What about your children who are living in another town or studying overseas? Constantly doesn't go away. Your body responds like how it does every other time. But here's the problem. It keeps producing cortisol, but the body is wired. Even at nighttime, you're tired, but you can't sleep. Right? If you do sleep, your sleep is very light. It's not deep anymore. You can almost remember your dreams because you're not sleeping at all. And so what happens is your body continues to produce cortisol, and you don't know the difference between a lion and a deadline. You get to work, all of a sudden, the hands are on your table. The other night, when I left this place on Tuesday, I took the SM green something. My driver was falling asleep all the way. Every time we got to traffic light, the car would roll back and the person behind would wait. And I'm looking at his face. Okay? Because you're constantly thinking, I need to provide for my family. I gotta pay for this. I gotta pay for the mortgage. I gotta increase my salary. I want the promotion, so I should work harder. You get the promotion, I don't have to work harder. Okay? You're constantly looping every single day. So now I want to share a story with you from the Bible to demonstrate that nobody is immune from burnout. I'm going to show you how to not happen. Then I'm going to show you the solution to the problem. All right? So the story that I'm going to share is about Elijah. Prophet in Israel, and he was called to share the message of God with the people. But something happened in his life that made him experience burnout. If you want to find the story, you go to 1 Kings chapter 19. In 1 Kings chapter 19, here's what has happened to Elijah. Okay? Elijah's been called by God, he prays, and for 3 years there's no rain. The king at the time, Ahab, does not like Elijah. He's trying to get Elijah killed. During those 3 years, his needs are provided for by the Lord. He spent by ravens, he spent by families, performs miracles, and then in chapter 18, Elijah stands a long time. There's a victory of God. Now you would think that after winning, you should be happy and excited about what comes next. After he reads in chapter 19, Jezebel comes and says to him, a day is going to come, and I'm going to take your life. This man has been running from soldiers. He's been running from the king. He's running from the threat in the nation. He's wondered for the entire nation of Israel. The rain has started to fall again. But For 3 years it's been running. Think about that in the English teacher. When you read the Bible, the thing is, okay, he's a person with feelings and emotions. For 3 years, that's his experience. But what I want you to understand is that the point I'm making is that burnout is it affects every single person. Whether you're failing, whether you're succeeding, it will affect you. Okay? I come up with a system to help us today, and I want you to see it. I call it the DH research framework. Okay, DH is basically influence, right? Results. How do you deal with burnout? I want you to focus on the top, or whatever that is, focus on the top. Okay? The research framework. First things first, you gotta deal with your daily habits. I told you about myself. The biggest mistake I made was my eating time. I'll eat at 2 in the morning. I'll eat 3-4 times, and I'll just eat things that don't help me. And so I was comforted emotionally because I didn't have a schedule going on. Okay? And so you gotta deal with it. What are the daily habits? Diet, one time, and just like so what to eat is very important. The time that you eat is very important. You cannot pretend that your diet does not affect you because it does. Okay? There's certain things, the biggest one these days is intermittent fasting. Giving your body a break. Because I've seen it. People love to snacking, and I caught that happen very quickly. And so I started snacking as well. You don't know you have. The second thing, another time, you have to force your body to sleep. Because if you don't, you won't manage to handle what's going on with your body. Because if you don't rest, how can you deal with the problems that you have? My uncle said to me, there's 3 times you should never, ever try to have a discussion or an argument with someone. When you're tired, when you're hungry, and when you're angry. Think about your life right now. When have you ever been able to discuss anything good? While sleepy, while hungry, and while in an emotional state. So if you deal with those things, you will be fine. Now I added a little bit of this one because, again, I notice that when people have a hard day, leave for work at 6 in the morning, you spend the whole day hustling, trying to earn everything. You come home at 9 o'clock, what do? You go on the bed, you pick up the phone, and you start to scroll. TikTok. You start scrolling from 10 until 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. in the morning. You think you're resting and relaxing, but what are you doing? You're constantly feeding your mind more information. So by the time the morning comes, you're exhausted, you didn't rest. And so disconnecting is actually a good thing that will help. Maybe try to sleep without the phone in your room. Okay? How urgent is a message at 2 a.m. in the morning? When last did you get an urgent call that requires your attention? But the problem with our generation, we are constantly connected. If you don't disconnect, you're never going to feel that stressless experience in your own life. Okay? And so to say right there, deep honesty. What does deep honesty mean? A lot of the times when people talk about what they're doing, all they're doing is venting. Okay? The mother will say, oh, my husband doesn't help the kids. I do this all by myself. The husband will say, I have to work all the time. I never have time for other kids. My boss expects so much of me that I don't have time to deal with my own personal life. My employers want more money, they want to pay for overtime. Everybody is not doing deep honesty. What they're doing is they're venting how they feel. Talking about how you feel doesn't help with burnout. What you need to do is do a deeper, honest conversation. Why do I feel the way that I feel? Is it the job? Is it the relationship? Is it the kids? Is it my health? Is it my hobbies? What is it that's got me thinking so much that I need to do? And having an honest conversation with yourself tells you what is real and what is not. Because a lot of the time, people think they are stressed, and yet they have a real problem that requires a real solution. I remember when I came up with the title for the presentation, Sister Esther changed it. And the title she gave me was better because enough is enough. You have to get to the point where, am I honest what's going on right now? For those who are parents, you sit down with your partner and ask, is the way we are parenting working for all of us? You know something interesting about Western countries today? You know the highest scores of divorce in Western countries, even among families with the mother stay at home? It's because she has to do a lot of things by herself at home, and until she feels it's unfair. So the man complains, she complains, and it's creating division in the home right now. And in Eastern African cultures, it's catching up because we've fought onto the work culture. Everybody works all the time. But then you try to have the responsibilities of a mother, the responsibilities of a man or a father. But you're struggling to deal with the real issue. And so what happens? Your work becomes your life. Your hobbies become your life. Okay? And that is a dangerous thing. So you need to have deep, honest conversations with yourself, with a professional. Get counseling, speak to somebody that can help you figure it out. Let's go to the third one. I call this one deflated heroism. What that simply means is everybody feels like a hero where they are. Some mothers don't want any help from the in-laws to take care of the kids. She wants to work, she wants to get home, feed the kids dinner, give them a shower, put them to bed, wake up in the morning, routine every day, that's not help. Because everyone wants to be the hero of their story. When you go to work, my brother, we talked about the hobby being basketball. You get back from work, you're tired, you want to play basketball with your boys. Right? You come home exhausted, you still got to take care of the wife, you got to take care of the kids. And so it's a constant loop. I can do this, I can do this. I speak to young people in Jakarta a lot of the time, and what happens is, because they want a promotion at work, not only do they do their responsibility, they do someone else's job as well. They're not taking care of what they're responsible for. They're adopting more things, and it's causing them to be stressed out. But they can't say anything because they're the hero. So you need to deflate this idea that I'm a hero. I'm not the only one who can get the job done. If my job is to take care of marketing, that's what I'm going to focus on. It's not because I want to help sales, it's not because I want to help production. I need to take care of my responsibility first before I can help somebody else. Are we together? I know that working hard is so built in the cultural context, but it's destroying your health. All the money that you're saving from your job, you're going to spend it on your health when you get older. Alright? So that's, you need to get rid of this. It's better to get rid of this. P4, I call it discovered hunger. When people experience burnout, a lot of people think they need to quit their job. They think they need to quit the relationship. They need to quit dealing with family. Quitting is not always the answer. What you need to do is go back where you started. Do you remember the first day on campus when you got to college, how excited you were? You were a dreamer. Remember the first couple of months of marriage? The things you're willing to do for your partner? Now, a few years later, when you get home, you stay in the parking lot for 45 minutes thinking, I need to be in the right mind to get upstairs, right? You've lost that hunger to make things work. How do you get that here? Remember why you started the job, why you started the business, why you wanted to start a family in the first place. They don't choose to be born. They are born because you want them in this world. How about going back to how you felt when you first started the parenting journey? Okay? And then finally, now I know there's a lot of questions. So somebody might say, what if my business is, I'm the only person in my business and I don't get anybody to help me? We'll talk about that. Okay? Delegate hunger means you need to learn to pass on responsibility to other people. So work was always bigger than one person. But sometimes we forget that. We take on ourselves everything instead of passing it on for families. How do we solve the problem with the kids? You invite the in-laws, you invite cousins and uncles, you try who puts a job and who doesn't. You need to have deep, honest conversations about that. Because if you try to look for help but nothing changes in your life, what is the point? Alright? You need to be able to deal. Let's go to the next one. I want to read go ahead. Again. Oh, no, stop. This one. I want this one. So when it comes to daily habits, what is identity shift? I am not what I produce. Rest is not a reward I earn, it is a grace I receive. In other words, you're telling yourself, my habits have to get to the point where they help me recover, they help me rest. It's not about eating food so I can do my job better. It's about eating food so that I'm healthy. I'm not taking a nap so that I can do my work. I'm taking a nap because my body is tired. But shift it. Stop the hustle culture mindset that's destroying your health. I remember the first time I heard somebody in their 30s having a heart attack. I had never heard of that before. But it is so common today. heart attacks, cancer, high blood pressure, the age keeps dropping with each year because we are constantly stressed out. The pharmaceutical industry is making so much money because people are medicating themselves and thinking that's enough. I was taking 7 different medications for my gastritis. I'll take medication for inflammation, I'll take medication for the gut, I'll take inflammation, I'll take steroids, and my body just started processing this stuff. Okay? Because I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking about my job instead of thinking about my physical condition. Again, I want to say it right. When it comes to deep honesty, identity shift, I don't have to perform even for God. You don't have to perform for anyone. My honesty doesn't inform me. Spirituality. Spirituality is not meant to make you religious and strict. It's meant to free you from assuming you are the only person going through things in life. It helps you process parenting, marriage, work, and all those things. And so the identity shift is I don't have to perform for other people. I do this because what I can. That's all it is. Right? Eventually, here is all right, identity shift. I was never the only one. The mission doesn't rise and fall with me. God was working before I arrived. So this idea that I'm the only one who can do the job, I'm the only one who can perform, is a dangerous idea. You gotta be able to let go and let other people help with the process. The son of God, success was not supposed to change who I am. Let me stop right there. For a lot of people, when they begin, they have a hunger for the job. They're learning, you're taking courses, you're becoming better at the job. But the moment you have more money, when you have success, you start chasing the results and not the process. And that's why these people lose the love of the game, the love of the job, the love of marriage, the love of the kids, big parents. It disappears because now success is I got one job, I need another job, I need another job. And you keep pushing the line of what success means. You forget where you started, you forget where you're going. Let's go to the last one finally. Identity shift. My assignment is not to do everything. It is to be faithful to what is mine and to release what belongs to someone else. You've already got problems in your own life. You're trying to help other people with theirs, but you're struggling. You've got financial problems, you need to deal with that. You've got relationship problems, you need to deal with that. It doesn't mean don't help other people. It means allow them to get help from somebody else because your family can be falling apart while you're helping someone else with theirs. Your job, your business can be failing while you support someone else. You need to learn to delegate with humility. All right, let's go. The rest is not a delegation, it's a recalibration. What does that mean? It means don't destroy the thing that you spent years building. Don't run away from something simply because you're burnout. Be honest about where you are in your journey as a person so that you can get the help that you need. You are not what you produce. Therefore, you are allowed to stop. I want to tell you guys that a weekend is not enough to reset your nervous system. You need more time. You need more time. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough time to deal with these things. So the burnout becomes real. When you stop, it doesn't mean stop permanently. Okay, don't be responsible. Don't all of a sudden say, I don't take care of the kids. Speak at the seminar said I should stop. No. I'm saying find a way to slow down long enough to recover and get better as a person. All right? I hope that you have got some things. I'm hoping there's a question and answer section so that we can go deeply into personally. But yeah, if I say right there, say that in this but that's what I have for today on burnout. Thank you very much.
Boleh sesi tanya jawab. Kalau ada yang mau ya, silahkan. Mau tiga pertanyaan dulu ya? Iya boleh. Ada yang mau bertanya? Ada yang mau gejala-gejala? Kalau saya sih merasa ya, ada gejala-gejala yang dibilang di awal tuh, ada bilang sekali. Jadi ada pertanyaan? Oh boleh. The question is, do you deal with the guilt when you changing, if you're shifting your daily habits or honesty and everything? Because to be honest, I carry that thing. I feel guilt if I, put myself first. Yeah, this is a big guilt I carry. So how you deal with it? And when you set boundaries, also um, how to make a healthy boundaries, not only with the coworkers or family, children, and everything.
I noticed something earlier on when they were asking, naming, reading, and hobbies. One of the answers are hobby question. So we don't have time for hobbies, right? Because a lot of things are not quite time. I noticed that. Because the hobby question is not it tells you everything you need to know about someone. That hobby, oh, my kids are hobby, my daughter's hobby. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what area specifically are you referring to specifically? If you don't mind me asking. Where do you feel the fear the most? If you were to stop or once or slow down?
To be honest with my child, family, sometimes, how do I put it? I have my family a lot, but sometimes I don't have the, sorry,
Okay.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
If I say no, you
About a new version of this. You can tell yourself, if I don't deal with the problem, one day you will fall apart and you're not going to be able for it. One day you will get to a place where it affects you so much, and then the same people who depend on you so much are not going to be there. I call it positive self. I need to take care of myself first. Guess what? So I can do more for other people. As somebody that people depend on, you've earned the right to slow down. And they need to be able to understand. Because, again, and people don't understand this, the biggest amount of stress, it doesn't come from work, it comes from home. It's the condition of home that affects people wherever they are. Because if you are not home and things are good at home, you can handle any pressure where it comes from. And so that's a big deal. So I want you to think about what I said. If you fall apart, then you're really not going to be available for anyone, including yourself. So slowing down for me sounds like you need to give yourself time to take care of what's going on in you first. And there's no room for guilt because you have to ask, what is causing the guilt? Is it expectations they have, or is it a standard that you take upon yourself? Is that because you have a high idea of what it means? That's what I call heroism. Or is it because other people are the ones who keep pushing the problem? Or what they said going to job, or that's not supposed to. I want you to know something. This is not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a place of rest and restoration. When you get home, you should be able to put your feet up and your husband or whoever you must massage you and make you rest. Okay? It shouldn't be like that. But I promise you, if you keep pushing yourself, you're going to fall apart and you're not going to be available for anyone. So you need to think about that. That's something your parents, but you can adjust your schedule to be time for this. Okay, so the next time you go to seminar and they ask what is your hobby, I hope you have one. I hope you have one.
I've been suffering from mental anxiety disorder for nearly 3 years. Another doctor prescribed medication. And actually, I'm better now because I used to have every night my sleeping pill. But that is better because from pill like three nights, and then the fourth night that I take the medicine. Yeah. But, I think I feel very similar get up close. Like this is like the same idea to start having something like a short-term memory loss? Is it because of the burnout? Is it because of my anxiety disorder problem? Or because another disease? And I don't know how to resolve this problem.
And what I got to the building, and I asked him to say something about this area. What I heard is that the moment you say chronic, there is a point where medication, right? It definitely helps to slow down. But as time goes on, in order to kill that thing we were talking about, there's going to be other changes. You might be able to call me and say, that's a major question.
Right, for example, maybe short-term loss. Some medications every day, but think about it again. Every medicine that you take will affect your neurotransmitter in your brain, what will cause individual complications to your memory. So you might want to consult your doctor about it.
I was going to say that. So if anything that solves one problem creates another problem. And that causes more stress. Right? Second, that doesn't stop. So I would definitely consult with the doctor to talk about the sugar. Everything else and get a handle. Absolutely, absolutely. But there's something to be said about the routines that take place in one person life. It helps a little bit with the medication. When you start having routine, habits, and all that. Have a conversation about that. Maybe it's based on what needs to be done. It's the demands that we talk. Because like I said, it is all connected and we don't realize it. Knowing the answer will help you know what to do. Because as you can tell, the amount of medication not helping is actually creating new problems. And so it helps. One thing is yeah, because it knocks you out, right? It knocks you out. Yeah. I remember I was told I should start taking sleep pills. There's so much to do that you can take. You'll begin to run out, isn't it?
I'm not at the time. Every twice a week.
There's something that you will be doing differently.
What are you using the medication? Honestly, I don't have the answer for that. I was just trying my best to take the next one.
It's good that you have that discipline. Most people are so again, I think to myself. When I took those different pills, I was happy with it because when I take the anti-inflammation, so I think this medication is and the root is your own, but that's discipline. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Good question.
Jadi harus ngomong ya.
No, I think for me, I think there's something where very interesting. I think I relate a lot with this, like almost all things, but like it's more about the condition, as you said, and yeah, sometimes we you said, it doesn't get resolved in a week. So I will probably just add a holiday season just out there. And I think that will help to get back to where I was and where I was like, just reflecting. Yeah, I think having a hobby will helps, but also when when your hobby is also more beneficial than your work. All that you see. And I think for me, that is the takeaway, and I'll start that.
Yeah, I want to follow what I just said about the hobbies thing. I remember I said my hobby was basketball. You know why I stopped playing basketball? Because I'm getting competitive. Many of us was learning football and taking the hobby. I think it's I need so I'm playing. And I feel bad for losing. Like I failed my team. And then I'm like, wait, I'm not a professional basketball player. And what happens with being an achiever sometimes, whenever you are, you constantly want to be compared. You don't know how to switch off, right? You're doing a high team, you're doing content typing, you're doing all of this, you're playing sports, and then nothing feels that fun anymore. It's like what you said. Each time you go back and remind yourself, why did I start on this journey? It's not having fun. It's not having fun. In fact, there's a book I want to recommend. It's called The Drive. It's called The Drive. It's a very popular book. I'm trying to remember all the name. And it talks about actually learning to work and play, the emotions and the mindset you have while you work and play, and learning how to work and play at the same time is different. What is that? We're saying, learn how to play my life. That's not a joke. That's actually an antidote to the problems of life. Thank you so much.
Daniel Pink. Is it? Daniel Pink.
Beautiful. I've read it 3 times.
Drive the surprising truth about what motivates us. Daniel Pink.
Okay. Now, how about when the trigger is like email coming or WhatsApp coming from coworker or boss?
Boss. Already.
It will be like,
Anxious.
post WhatsApp. It's better to do it as open to know what's happening or to postpone the things until tomorrow or something. And then number two, I think something from this burnout. Sometimes right? And I think like the Samson hunger, like to find like the purpose. How to start.
I don't know if people have time to share, but I want to talk about the first one. The worst thing you can do is ignore emails for too long. Because first off, they're not going anywhere. Okay? But so we see, I think it's that book, another one, he talks about the zero detox. You have to set a day where you deal with all the emails that are urgent, you know the difference between urgent and important. Okay? Now I want to know, why do you not have to open the emails from your client? Doesn't that push the business forward? I'm not asking you, I'm saying think about it. What's making you not want to read the email? Is it the relationship with the people? Is it because it's more work that you want to do? Or is it work that's got nothing to do with you? Because a lot of the time, you know when you experience burnout, you can't tell what is urgent and what is important anymore. Everything feels urgent. That's why I said you can't tell the difference between a lion and a headlight. It's all blurred now, it's all the same. You have working people, somebody calls, like you said the other day. You said sometimes they call you to talk about the baby. You start to panic, what's happening? What's going on? You want to solve it. Because you're constantly on a loop. I don't think the problem is probably the work itself. But I would suggest stop opening every email unless it's urgent and it's been mentioned that it's coming. Unless your job requires it to open every email. I don't know. Okay? But the phone you're just keeping the pen down the road. Those emails are still going to be there. Just decide what is urgent, what is not. By the way, AI can help with that. My brother just set up using Claude how to search between emails that are a response to a client and emails that are thank you from a client or a prospective job that came to some site. Because this is honest, if you go for email, a lot of it is ads, things that they're following because you're on a website. It's not urgent. Okay, that's the first one. What is the second question? I did share with myself, I think a lot of other people to talk about. I'm public speaking. I'm doing it for since 2013. When I first started, I was doing three presentations a week, three radio stations. I was doing marriage counseling, I was counseling young people, I was speaking to universities and high schools, all together at once. Sometimes I came to high school and I'll project the wrong presentation because I forgot where I was. What was going on? I didn't know how to say no. I was accepting everything that I was being offered to. But this time around, I've learned to say no to things I don't feel qualified to do, or if I truly don't have the time, I won't do it. Okay, I won't do it. Like today, for example, I spoke twice this morning and now, while my voice was on. Right? And that's not good because topics overlap. So I'll say just do this. Let me just say no to things that no, you don't really have to. But at the same time, like the brother said, recall why you got into the first place. At some point, for me, it became a job. But after taking 2 years off and going back to my country and coming back again, I'm excited. I'm like a young kid again. I love jumping into the car, I was driving, I'll speak to the people. Something got triggered. Because it's around in my head. I haven't done it. Yeah. Anybody have any thoughts about that? Because that's a genuine question. How do you get back to that hunger that you had before? You know, how do you get there? It's an important question. Is it a job question? Is it dealing with clients again? It's like going back to grassroots when you start. Out there.
I don't know. What do you think? There are some people that is like, lonely,
sabbatical, ya.
Okay, now remember, what I think is, remember, like I said, resting is not enough. The question is, what are you doing during that time? Because a lot of the times, we think not working is resting. It's not necessarily the same thing. What are you doing during the downtime? Okay, I want to share with you. Last year, for the first time ever, after 25 years of counseling and teaching, for the first time in my life, I went to bed. I remember when I sat down with the lady, I said to her, black people don't do better. Probably better. 15 minutes in, I was fine. She unlocked something I didn't know was there. So for me, it hasn't helped last year because I got to get in touch with myself. Something I hadn't done ever before. And that's how the hunger came back. I went back and dealt with a little boy, Will Smith as a company says, my inner child is going to tantrum. My inner child grew a tantrum for a year. And I dealt with that. Okay? So I would say stopping work is not enough. It's not about how long. It's what do you do during that time. Right? There's places I would love to recommend. Somebody there's a friend who did 21 days in Malaysia. So I understand they get 21 days, detox. Went over there. We tried meditation, we tried ayahuasca. Ayahuasca with the Indians do the drugs and the smoke and all that stuff. When we went for the seminar, business guy on the ground, planting carrots and planting vegetables for 21 days, came back, fired up, ready to meet this. Okay, so if you press reset, assess how deep is the problem. Is this a case of me pulling away from, okay, if I was meeting 20 times a week, maybe just okay, like I said, reset doesn't mean canceling everything. Because that's why people walk away from their families, because, oh, I'm tired of being a husband, I'm tired of being a wife. And then you realize, oh, the problem wasn't the family, something else was affecting me. I needed to do it. And this part is hard. I remember when I sat down with the therapist, I tried to blame my father because he wasn't there. She said no. I tried to blame my partner. She said no. But when I went deep down inside, there was trauma I didn't deal with when I needed to deal with it. So it kept showing up in different relationships, in different parts of my life. And when I confronted it, I was was able to call people and say, I'm sorry for who I was, I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't know. I was carrying all this anger and I was hiding behind achievement and ambition. Thinking that if I'm successful, it fixes all the trauma. Success does not fix trauma. It makes it more difficult. Okay, so don't just put it down. What are you doing in the downtime? Now, let's be honest. Not everybody has a luxury of putting their job. You need the money. You can't just stop and go on vacation like an American who comes to Thailand and just have fun. Life doesn't look like that for everybody. So we have to figure out how do I get answers in real time, in real life. Stuff like this helps, having conversations with people. Discovering I'm not the only one. Someone else is going through it. Okay? You gotta figure it out.
I don't have an answer for your question.
Like this meeting.
Mine is what it is, but maybe I can share with you. So, 2015, 2016, we've been concentrating on, I've been so stressed out. That moment, it took us about 2 years to find that, and nothing will ever line up perfectly. But you have to make a decision. I mean, I think that's my reflection of what happened in 2016 to stop and pause everything. We didn't have a lucky, I don't have a tough time, but it was a decision between my mental health, our family, or we continue this pace of working and working and working and working. 2 years ago, how I got it. Oh, I can't because you have to want to take my master's, but we can't. Because, we can't. We figured out and thought about it, but I think it's about planning and your current situation. At that time, we were 5 years old. So we thought, when else are we going to do this? As he grows up, he'll be in school. If I don't do it now, when else are we going to do it? So it did take us time. I stopped working, because we stopped working recently. What's going on? How are we going to do this? Of course, that 2 years we had the savings, but it was the best decision ever. I think it was the best decision ever, and I agree. What are you doing during that pause? I'm not suggesting to drop it, stop working, figure that out. But at that time, that was only, reflecting ever since undergrad, and then we continued on. I was always working. I was stressed out work, attending my work. What exactly are we doing? We took us about a year to reset everything. We kind of went with my parents. At that time, my mom, and we went over there. Okay, but I think it was the best time because my sister also had children about her age who were not in school. I think you take time. Every time I come to like exactly how you want, but it will come close. At least it will come close to it. And the things that sometimes we think or we always not going to happen, how are you? How do you figure something out? Just kind of do it. The reason will happen because things will come into place however way you will look like. And so, yeah, in 2016, 1 year, and I planned to in this direction, but the whole year allowed us to really think about where do we want to go? Let us map out our 10 where are we at and where do we want to go? And I felt like that 2016 running, I don't run, but they say when you're running, and you're exhausted, you can't take that second. You're like, you're exhausted, but it's almost close and you're like, okay, let's push it all the way. So when you're resetting, you take that time to think about that second movie, that little effort or acting that we move you along, and anxious and be intentional. Because those are the two things that I think is like planning, be conscious, be intentional, and really do everything. And I think you need to figure out which direction to go. And along the way, the universe will follow, and how you also protect yourself and your ground is also important. If you want to go in that direction, but you have your host for wanting to go in that direction, literally, you're going to end up going there. So be intentional and really position yourself to the direction you want to go. And everything else will eventually follow.
And that's for us, but it's going to be burnout. It's not the time to be making long-term decisions. That's why slowing down is important. Like you said, things never turn out the way you want to. Actually, it's because they're supposed to go better in the first place. But we get caught up in the rat race, and if we're always scrolling other people's lifestyles, right, or watching Korean celebrities and trying to match your life to that, I got on social media for months. I thought I missed a lot when I came back. People are still posting the same stuff from 2 years ago. Nothing's changed. So you got to get yourself out of the rat race long enough to when you get back in, from a new perspective, be excited again.
I don't know if it is connected or not, but I think it should be connected. I remember in one of the classes that I had, of course, that was long ago, Dr. Juliet Melbourne. So he mentioned that in order to continue to have the certification as a psychologist, they had to every 6 months they had to go to another psychologist and get I don't know what you call therapy or whatever, some sessions. Yeah. Because he said you hear all the problems of the people and you're trying to solve, it does affect you as a psychologist. And so they needed to really also go and seek help. Not like you're the master, you know everything. You're trying to solve other people's problems, but all that, when you constantly, repeatedly hear the same problems, issues, and you try to solve, it affects you as a psychologist. So I guess, you need to go through some of these type of steps in order to, apart from just seeking help also, but it's important.
They're not necessary at all for mental health or anything, but life. So I think what I'm trying to practice is exercise. Actually, exercise is very important. I think we often say, okay, I need rest. I need rest in sleeping. No, not at all. Exercise means for me is like you need to move. Your system has to change from what is going on within you. So exercise does a lot for me. And of course, your dieting really is very important. Recently, I found out really my problem with sleep comes when I eat past 6 o'clock. So now I'm really trying best not to eat after 6 or after 7. That affects so much of my sleep quality. And then about downtime, I think each of us, we don't need to be fancy about our downtime when we watch something or like me, I personally found out that my downtime is when I met my grandchildren. So I try best after my meeting, activity, I'll come to this place and play like 1 hour, just laugh and joke, and then go home. I feel relaxed.
is journaling. Yeah, I found there was a time when my life when I got I was in very difficult situation. And I was far from everything. And I think the one that helped me is my journaling. I wrote. And that really helped. And I found out that that happens with my friends also. So she told me. So whenever, well, I have like a spiritual friend also. And even until now, when I have something, I talk to her, and then she said, "Remember, you did journaling, you did, you know." So that's what I advise to people also. Not long back, my friend had a very bad experience with the girlfriend died. He was married and died. So again, my friend reminded me, talk to her son, do this. You know, so I told him, I don't know really, but you know, he likes to write, so he sometimes goes to social media, you know, something. I think people will see, oh, maybe he is too overreacting with his situation. I think I will take it as he's, you know, expressing. So I said, okay, you guys. So Germany is something that another thing which is quite regularly I do is also, well, once a week at least you have to be away from everything. Like for us, I mean for us it's the worship time. We go to church every Saturday. I think without it, it's really a problem. And here my son right now is taking his studies, and he has very difficult time. Almost called me every day. He said, "I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. I cannot do this. I cannot do this." I said, "How come? Yeah, he is very hard worker. Why he cannot quit?" And it's like, I know this is not him. But then I told him, I said, "No, you didn't have your worship time. You work 7 days a week. You have to talk to your supervisor. You have to do it. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive 4 years. This is just half a year." So I'm so happy that today he told that he went to church. He asked that he has to have a break at least once a week. So I think that's for us also. If we don't do that, the cycle is like making us like really burn out easily. And another thing that we both do a lot is we go to nature. And I think more and more now, if you read, even in Japan, yeah, they said nature is now given as a prescription. Is already a prescription for medical. And at the beginning, I was like, maybe because I like nature. Just from my young age, I always go to hike and always. I thought it's just my love of nature, but it's actually really physically now more and more people said when you are near a tree, actually there is energy. Yeah, and actually they have pictures. They show that the trees will give you, there is some oil or type of thing that comes out, especially the pine tree. There are times we go to the nature every week after Sabbath, after church. We always go. And this is really a lot of doctors giving, especially for children who are ADHD, having mental. Go to the nature is very important. So I think, yeah, it cannot be with pills, really. It's gonna be making you worse. But I think this holistic approach we have to find. Otherwise, we cannot survive in this kind of life we have now, where everything is in screen, yeah, and then your work is very difficult. Although, yeah, we have to find this. Forest therapy.
Forest therapy. Oh iya, forest therapy.
Pastor would like to know
Mister Chan.
when there is a call or the suggestion to visit the grandkids, the driver needs to drop everything he's doing
Driver.
to avoid stress.
You know each other, right? You know each other. Half the time we stress out because think about it, even as parents, we are on someone else's kid, not our own. because I'm sure taking care of your kids is not doing it. But while the schools, let's say that, and by the time you start to think, that really take care of the kids, you're not that good. Now, when you create moments where you are in control, human beings are in control. So if you can create moments that are yours, it does something for ladies. It's the yogas and the Pilates, and I always notice that the more the ladies are coming out from there, they are so happy. They're chatting, and I'm like, what are we working in there? But then I realize there's something about connecting. I recently joined a men's group. All the time, like I said, I wasn't talking to people about what's going on. So I joined an international men's group. We all know each other, with kids, all around the world. And once a month, we do a Zoom call, and we just talk about it. And somebody said that men don't need therapy, they need purpose. When a man has something to do, he's highly stressed out. Okay? I think it's the same for women as well. When once you're doing things that purpose, because the truth is, it's not that we're doing too much, it's that our minds are not calibrated to what we do. So you feel like too much. That makes sense. I promise you, one conversation won't get us there. One conversation won't get us there, but at least it triggers someone to begin. That's what this is, okay? Please go ahead.
I think this is the next question. The second question was, how to discover hunger? In order to discover hunger, you need to find your purpose. Because every one of us has a purpose. Why on earth are we on earth? Like for this Yamaha keyboard, what do we use this keyboard for? For playing music, right? But can we use it for doors open? We could, yeah. But when you use the keyboard as a doors open, the product designer, the creator of that keyboard will not be happy. And each and every one of us is actually having a purpose. And you need to find the calling. Once you find the calling, you find the purpose of your life. When you find the purpose, then you can come back and find the purpose. And it has to do with the DH. Be honest. You need to be honest with yourself. Yeah. Then the rest of the DH will come up. Wow. You can find it so far.
Please speak more. Last one.
Last one ya, last one.
Jam segini ya, last one.
Okay. So, earlier, I think Dr. mentioned about the psychologist needs to have to do sort of therapy themselves because they're absorbing a lot of the problems. I think I also noticed that sometimes we bring our work home, and then our partner becomes our therapist. And I'm just reflecting because I tend to absorb, I think we're all passionate about our work, even to the point of all the problems. And then we start sharing, oh, this happened, this happened. And then our partner will absorb that. How do you cut work and family? Some people can't seem to stop it, but when you're so into your work, it becomes part of you. And it spills over, and that can also trigger a challenge between husband and wife. Three husbands and a wife. I don't know. I don't know if you experience that. Like, you're so passionate about your work, so it's hard for you to draw the line between work and your personal life. I don't know if that makes sense. And it's just, I have to be more cognizant, I think, of the fact that some things at work need to stay at work. Some things at home, when it's not drawing is word. So maybe other experience or tips or
It's a very simple answer to that. When you find your purpose, when you find your calling, the work becomes a goal. Even this is Samson just mentioned like we talk like in the morning and then talk again, so he enjoy it. We love it. You know, Lionel Messi is designed to be a footballer. Okay. Is designed by the creator to become a footballer. Can he play music? Maybe, but not as good as a musician. Can he preach? Maybe, but it's not as good as a preacher. But when he find his calling, he get paid like 5 billion rupiah every week, and he enjoy it. So I stopped working as a director in a multinational company like 20 years ago. I was like, my first 10 years is actually as from marketing trainee all the way to marketing manager. 10 years working, I was promoted as marketing director. It's like 33 years. Become marketing director in a big multinational company. And I'm doing as a marketing director job for the next 10 years. I enjoy because of the pride, the salary, the facility, and all that. But it gave me burnout. Because that is not my calling, that is not my purpose. When I realized my purpose, then I switched off my career and go to my calling. It usually only earn like 25% of my salary. But I find my happiness back, I find my
that's the wonderful story. My question is how to separate. I mean, I think just special challenges at work. I mean, I totally agree with you. Find purpose, you'll find you will never work another day. But in real life, I mean, I'm not saying that's not real life, it's just what are some ways that you shut off the things of challenges of work, of happening in the office, or real life at home. I mean, you know,
Yeah, I have this feedback from my wife. I don't go to someone and she doesn't do that extra. So what I do is,
Iya.
what I do is, similar to one of the answer just to write it down. So I write it into words, into
Journaling, ya.
journaling, and if I really want to vent, I ask her first, like, can I vent? And then sometimes she says yes, sometimes she says no, yeah. But the other time, once a while, I need to, like, just to share all of this stuff. I understand, I need to, I'm like, put a break also, not to share too much, and it doesn't affect her positively, right? It's all just problem, honest, what I share is like, good news, but mostly it's problems, so I just need to feel the first one and share and review. And something that will not
Other people.
yeah.
yeah, I think this is a very good question. This is again my experience. I think I found my purpose. I think what I'm doing right now is really what I love to do. But still, there's the danger where I mean, you still doing what you like, you still face stresses, and because you work with other people, and they create stress, and there's this challenge. And there is big danger. I think if you keep on talking about it, and especially at home. I think I try best now not to talk too much, especially when I have problems. Because when we have problem, it's actually a lot of, well, the problem will go away tomorrow, the next day. But then if we talk about it, it will stay in his, in his mind, and other people around us, because and they cannot relate as we do, right? Because we experience a lot. So for me, it's again for myself. I try my best not to talk too much, especially when it's a problem, when it's everything I don't know. I found it. And then there is this lady, if you, I don't know, there is a famous Indian comedian now in the States, the name is Dana Gar. Dana, if you watch. She's very funny and she's very realistic, I think. She's a mother, she's a housewife, and then become a comedian. And there is another one thing that's quite interesting when she said, why you American has marital problems? Because you communicate too much. Don't communicate, is it? Yeah, because for us we think we can communicate everything, right? But actually, in reality, when you communicate, I mean, of course, this is in the different. I mean, there are different contexts, right? But communication can be dangerous. I feel if you communicate everything, yeah, oversharing. I think who you need to over communicate to your God. I really believe. Your spouse cannot understand you totally. Anyone cannot totally understand. And yeah, right?
But the thing, Pastor, the positive side is when you share, everything is out, you fall asleep, one stays awake. One can't sleep.
That's exactly what I want to talk about after the lady goes.
Not answering, but maybe what we said about how we overshare to our partner about things at work. Maybe because we trust them. Yeah, we trust them. We feel that we can say everything. We can share everything about our life at work or with children. But I think the problem is with our expectation after we share. Yeah, what we expect for him or her to respond to it, to our what we share there. Yeah. If it doesn't meet our expectation, then we have a problem, right? It will become conflict. So maybe we can lower our expectation, or we can just say sometimes if I share something to my friend or my kid or my partner, and then he said something back, or they say something back. No, I don't need your. I just want to share. I don't need I don't need you to solve this problem. No, I know how to solve this, but I want to get like to share, to plan. But maybe next time we have to ask first. Whether you're in a good condition, I have a lot in my mind. I need to plan. Yeah, and I don't have any expectation from what I'm going to share with you. Maybe
Stay awake.
Suffer with me, suffer with me.
But here's the thing. I go away as a couple. You are with each other. Not as a couple.
Yeah.
The question is, are you the one couple? Because I'll be honest with you, I know couples that are not talking about it. They'll be in the kitchen talking about work, they will sit there, they'll talk about work, they'll go to the game talking about work, and it works for them. So the question is, what works for you as a couple? Some people it's the opposite. They don't share enough about work. The partner doesn't know what's going on. Alright, so when I look at balance, I'm very careful because balance doesn't mean what people think. Work-life balance is a myth.
Yeah,
You will always take what time to work. The question is, is it quality than at home? Because sometimes I think wife wants to do what's going on. But what the wife doesn't want, she doesn't want to be the recipient of the negative energy only. Okay, so I usually I will celebrate because sometimes husbands will talk about what's going bad or when things are good.
Yeah.
She she doesn't get the dinner celebration, her friends do. So I think it's a balance. I like to all take a look at the note. It is impossible, but like I said, asking the fathers is great. Things like this is right, not crazy. Right? But also be considerate of what's going to be going. If I'm asking what's going to be, right? I know the guy is part of a family business and making work go well. The wife is a second mom. And every time he gets home, she wants to tell me what the kids, wants to put the way, and he's like, I can see and he goes to the house and he plays on PlayStation. So for him, the PlayStation is more relaxing than talking to your wife. And gives you more. Okay.
Okay.
Balance.
I think you can close, yeah?
Yeah.
So,
Otherwise, we don't know if you say here.
okay, so
I'll wrap this up.
Okay.
Everything we've discussed today, and I'd like to ask questions, but think about it. A lot of the things you're asking, most of the time you're so coming home and not being able to cook your partner or overwhelming your partner. A lot of the times we don't have regulation in how we live our lives. So we're all balanced, and the truth is we don't know where all balance is. And so having conversations with your wife, with your partner, with your friends, and really thinking through what's going on. Being part of the mental health helped me a lot because I didn't realize how much of I had a Superman complex. I wanted to do everything and fix everything. So by the time I sat down, I'm frustrated, I'm moody, and then my partner gets it, my son gets it, and then it's like, but that's your job, it's supposed to cut my back, right? He's the what he's saying. But the problem is, it's not so good to regulate it. And for those who are experiencing burnout in the home front, that's ground zero. Have to deal with that. Right? Thank you so much, guys.
this is our tomorrow seminar, if you want to come.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, this is tomorrow, yeah. This is location in Jakarta. About business making space about energy. Yeah, tapi jadi gimana ya?
Yeah.
Kemudian selanjutnya poin memahami ya, kalau ingin tahu yang saja. Jadi sedikit sharing juga, kita tuh baru dari awal tahun ya,
Tahun lalu.
ya, kita punya namanya wellness center, nanti maksudnya. Jadi tadi sempat ngomong mengenai BP atau termination, kita bisa meluangkan waktu beberapa minggu, kalau sebulan gitu. Jadi kita juga ya dapat uang samping ya.
Di sampingnya tuh pinus ya.
Dari situ banyak kan nanti kalau tertarik kita bisa diskusi lagi. Nanti ada programnya yang 3 hari, 3 hari semuanya 3 hari. Oke, kita foto bersama. Oke, kita foto bersama.